What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video, I'm excited to give you guys a tour of one of my rental properties where I'm at right now. This is Corona Street in Dorchester, where we just finished a cash out refinance on the building. So what I thought I'd do is give you guys an overview of how we bought the building, what we did to it, how we structured the financing with both the bank as well as private investors because they were really key in this deal. And I'll give you guys the scoop on the back end about what happened with the refinance and how we were able to return money to the investors and now sit on an amazing cash flowing asset. So we're gonna talk about it right now. If this is your first time on my channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. Put out tons of new videos every single week all about rental property investing. So with that, let's get right into the story of Corona Street. So this is a multi-family property in Dorchester, a neighborhood of Boston. Now, this was one of the very first deals I did with my strategy of buying rental property, using capital partners, doing construction, and then refinancing on the back end. So we bought this building way back in 2019. So we've already owned it for almost 3 years now, 2.5 years. And when we first bought it, this building needed a ton of work. You can see right now, it's obviously in pretty good condition all around. But when we first bought it, it was in really horrible shape. So we bought the building using bank financing, right? So the bank came in and gave us 80% of the purchase price, which was $650,000. And they also gave us 100% of the construction budget, right? So we only had asked for $200,000 when we first did the deal. It actually ended up taking us almost $270,000. Again, this was one of our first projects, so we were still kind of sharpening everything up. So we did certainly had an overage, but the product came out really good. So you can see right here, the kitchen is nice and renovated. There's brand new plumbing and electrical everywhere. I'll give you guys a quick tour as well right now. So a lot of the character was retained. You know, we kept a lot of the original hardwood floors, but of course, again, as I said, new electrical and plumbing behind the walls, went up with new plaster. So this is kind of the living room area. We've got bedrooms on the wing. This is actually one of our big units. It's a 4-bed, 1-bath. Bathroom was completely renovated. Again, plumbing and electrical completely redone. You can obviously see new vanity, new tub and everything. We've got a nice little pantry, another bedroom, brand new electrical panel right there. So brand new electrical service coming into the building. And then 2 very large bedrooms in the back as well. So total of 4 beds, 1 bath. This is one of our biggest units that we offer, and we collect really good rents on them. We typically get about $2,900 per month for these 4-bedroom units. So I already mentioned about the bank financing. The bank came in with their loan. Now for the actual down payment, we needed about $150,000 between the down payment and some holding costs while we were renovating the building initially. So what we did is actually got capital partners, right? So we basically had a few private investors, 3 private investors, each write us a check for $50,000, and they essentially got what we call equity in the deal, right? So they essentially became part owners of the building. So they gave us the $150,000, and together with the bank's loan for the acquisition and the construction loan, we were able to put everything together and do the project. Now, once we actually finished renovating and leased everything out, it was really good. This was a commercial loan, so it was a really good interest rate, so we didn't need to refinance right away. But we basically leased out the entire building. As I said, we got about $2,900 per unit, which is of course a fantastic rent roll. So we ended up sitting on this building for about 2 years, and just recently in the spring, we started the conversation with a bank about doing a cash out refinance, right? Because we built so much equity into the building by doing the construction process that we were able to do a cash out refinance and actually return the capital that we borrowed from these private investors back to them. So if you remember my numbers, we bought the building for $650,000. We borrowed $200,000 in this construction loan at about a $70,000 overage, right? So, you know, call it a $270,000 plus holding costs, call it $300,000. So all in, we probably spent about $950,000. Now, when we had the building appraised recently this spring, it got appraised for $1.2 million, right? So we obviously built in quite a bit of equity by doing this process, almost $250,000 worth. So we had enough equity to go in and do a cash out refinance. So we found a bank that gave us a new 80% loan to value loan on the back end, right? And what it allowed us to do, it allowed us to cash out just about $240,000, right? And with that $240,000, what we were able to do was repay that $70,000 in that construction overage, plus that $150,000 that we initially borrowed from the private investors. And we were able to return them that capital in full under 3 years period. So now that the private investors all got their capital back, basically the way we structure our deals is they retain their ownership in the building, right? So they had their own percentage share of the building. Even though they got their money back, they still retain it. So now basically we're just sitting on a cash flowing building that's leased out, although we're trying to fill this unit that's currently vacant. But once this gets filled out, it'll be fully leased and cash flowing, and the investors will have their capital back and enjoy continued cash flow coming off the building, right? They're each gonna get their percentage share of the cash flow that we generate from the building. So I just actually did the numbers last week on this building. So after all of our expenses, right, including property management, we have an in-house property management, all of our maintenance, utilities, pest contracts, snow, landscaping, etc. After we deduct all these expenses from the income and also account for the new mortgage, we're still spitting off somewhere in the vicinity of $800–900 per month on 3 units, which is pretty good, especially in that expensive area like Boston. So all the investors plus myself and my partner are gonna continue to take our shares in the cash flow moving forward. Everyone has their money back, and now we're just enjoying a brand new renovated asset. So this is all part of what we call the BRRRR strategy, or the buy, renovate, rehab, rent, repeat. Try saying that 5 times fast. But that's all part of this strategy, again, where we borrow capital up front, do some construction, increase the value of the building, and then refinance on the back end so we can return that borrowed capital. Now, we've been doing this multiple years now, so we're pretty good at this now, but this is core strategy of how I've built out my rental portfolio, as well as help private investors, right? Because they get to experience the growth in the equity, they get their capital back, they get percent ownerships in our buildings. So it's really an awesome win-win for myself, for my investors, as we get to sit on these awesome renovated buildings throughout Boston. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Hopefully that kind of explains the strategy, the financials behind the buildings, and exactly what we did to tackle this project. If you guys have any questions, make sure to just comment below.